Hey guys, we wanted to give y'all an update of what we're doing with the Ancient Way podcast. Because we so value education and learning and expansion and all the things, we are actually starting a subscription page.
Mm-hmm.
You can find more details on our website, theancientwaypodcast.com, with kind of the access points that you'll get, things that you get.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that the subscription page is going to help James and I do is have the ability for resources
to equip us with resources.
To equip us with more resources. So,
yeah. Well, I want to chime in too about the whole subscription-based thing. Like, we've put so much into play, and we've sunk a whole lot of time and money even into some things that we're going to reveal soon. But we really want to build like the community aspect of this, like the people that are seeking to grow and to follow the ancient way, so to speak. And to connect people to each other as well, to build like a thriving community of like, hey, we're all in this pursuing what the Lord has for us, the fullness of it.
Yeah.
And so we put things into play. But the byproduct of that is it would also equip us to provide more resources.
Yeah.
And to help us to be more flexible and to even maybe more of our time. And but if that's something you're interested in,
yeah, go visit our website, sign up. I think it's $7 a month.
Yes.
So,
yes, and there's going to be a lot of cool things with it.
Yeah, I'm excited about how we're going to expand.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia. Y'all are coming to us or jumping in on like an hour of us already talking and not recording. So
yeah.
Sorry, guys. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I was so inspired by it this week, was the lie of separation. And this was prompted by my husband because there was a situation that happened and he was praying. And he prayed that the lie of separation would be dismantled. And when he said it, something just like clicked within me that the lie of separation not only affected us feeling like we were separated and alienated in our minds towards the Lord, which is Colossians 1:21.
Yeah.
But it also is that lie of separation that we are separated from one another.
Mm-hmm.
Because those were the only two commandments that the Lord gave us, was love the Lord your God and love each other as yourself. And it's that lie of separation that we are separated from each other. We're separated from the hierarchy. You've got, this old friend group and then the new friend group and the cliques, quote unquote.
That separation from people is like it's like it's kind of hidden. I never really consider it that much.
Yeah.
But the separation from God is always the big highlighted one, know? But the people, it's so right there in front of you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it totally equally involves people as well.
Yeah. Like, look, one of the things I started evaluating, I was like, whoa, where is this lie creeped in my relationships?
Yeah.
Where I feel like I'm separate from somebody.
Yeah.
Where I feel like, and I know we can throw that label of like, well, that's a victim mentality. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's because you believe the lie that you're separate.
Yeah.
You believe the lie that you're less than, or that
insignificant,
or, whatever that is, whatever that insecurity is, that you're not getting some kind of need met.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all rooted in the lie of separation.
Comparing yourself to other people too.
Yeah. Yeah. All of that looks like almost us all the time trying to judge, am I separate?
Yeah.
How am I separate?
Mm-hmm.
Or you flip it on the other side of it. I've heard this statement often here lately is like, well, I just need connection. I need connection. And it's like, well, yeah, you can claim that that's what you're wanting.
Yeah.
But the root is that you believe that you're separated.
Yeah. Oh,
and you flow from that.
Right.
Like, I had somebody was like, well, that's just a basic inherent need that people need is connection. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
But the energy that you bring into that is from the belief that you are separated,
Yeah.
that you're not good enough for this relationship.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like, it's kind of yucky.
Yeah.
You know, it puts off a weird energy to where I think people don't know how to fully respond.
Yeah.
You know, when you hold that lie of separation. But
that is a thin line. That's an area there, because I'm thinking about it now too. Just now, like, we need, like, people. It's about people.
Yeah.
But it's not about dependence.
Yes.
On people. It's like, okay, we'll go into that a little bit. And I'm not there yet. I'm thinking about it. But that's like, yeah, where is that? A line in that, or like, what's the, because it's so close.
Mm-hmm.
It's so close to one another.
Yeah. I think it's what do you actually believe?
Yeah.
You know, and I think the only way that you can find out what you actually believe is when you face off with your deepest fears. You know, like, I think that fears will surface, or triggers surface, or, you know, responses happen where if you're fully aware of your body, you'll feel your heart constrict, pull back. You'll feel yourself like shut down.
Yeah.
Because if you're wide open and you are tender, there are no triggers.
Yeah.
You actually don't care. You're just in this present moment. And you're here. There's no judgment of do I have this? Do I not have this?
Yeah.
You know? And so I think it's like, it's the codependency, if we want to use that word.
Yeah.
Manifest because we haven't chosen to go look face to face with our fears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are just these coping mechanisms. And that's where I think that, like, these wounds that we have, I see it like a body, right? And it's like holes or wounds, bullet holes that people have. But that lie of separation seeps in. And when that lie, I see it kind of like a mist when it comes in and it starts to infect, then people start to project whatever their quote unquote coping mechanism or whatever their trigger is. Like you filter information.
Right.
You over exaggerate things.
Yeah.
You see things as just black and white. You kind of deny reality. You deny your feelings. Like, all of these are symptoms of that lie of separation just manifesting. And I don't know if you're fully tracking with that, but like, I think that all of the ways that we express things is the expression of what we really believe.
Yeah.
So everything that we say, everything that we do, everything like,
for sure.
And so I think
we live what we believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we're manifesting something, or we're, right, like I told you the example the other day.
Yeah.
For me, like, we participate in these behaviors that you're kind of like, why the crap did I do that?
Yeah.
Like, why would that's not really who I am. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
But I think all of these things are rooted in that lie, the lie of separation. Or like, why did I snap at my kids? Like, or why am I annoyed with my kids?
Yeah.
Or look at the pattern. Are you constantly annoyed with your kids? And it's just because your life is quote unquote stressful. It's like, okay, is your life really stressful?
Yeah.
Or do you just believe that you're separated from God or from other people?
Yeah.
And it creates an unrest within you.
Or that you're some separated target of all these horrible things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then even going back to what you were saying about like the needing people and like that dependency thing.
It's a device.
It's just a device. It's a way of like, hey, I don't feel okay.
Yeah. I need you to feel okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh.
I need you to do this for me to be okay. I need you to call me every day when you're driving home so I know that you're coming home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that is straight codependency, dude.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I mean, I'm guilty of it. That's why I'm saying this. It's like, that's kind of my lived experience.
It's a real thing, yeah.
You know, where, we don't. This is what I think, is that we need people to release our love to.
Yeah.
We don't need people to give us anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the relationships are. Because right, love doesn't seek its own.
Yeah.
Because we're people that pour out.
Yeah.
Right. So we should be so full that we're releasing. That's why we need people, so we can continue to release.
Yeah.
And as they release, that comes into us, and it's like that continual waterfall.
It's the outward expression of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what people are for.
And then you're receiving it without needing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 There was a video that I've been listening to that I thought was brilliant. But they talk about showing up with your full yes.
Yeah.
And it got me into this thought about like the lie of separation causes people not to show up with a full yes.
Yeah.
Like they show up half-hearted, or they show up with their insecurities.
Yeah.
To hide and not fully be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like
shy away from things.
Yeah. Or they say just enough to make themselves feel better. Or but there's no like heart-to-heart connection. There's no like, hey, I'm just going to show up with this dark shadow that I'm kind of carrying, this trauma, these triggers. I'm just going to show up and be seen.
Yeah.
Like, it just is what it is, you know, without the pressure and whatever. But they asked the question. They were like, evaluate the relationships in your life. And the main thing that they were talking about was marriage.
Yeah.
Which I really valued. But I was like, this applies to every relationship. They asked the question, like, how are you showing up in your relationships?
Yeah.
And so I started thinking through, like, my marriage, my close friends, acquaintances, even, you know, the people that are even, like, further on the outside with my family. Like, I started going through all of my spheres, and I could start to see, like, oh, these places I show up fully.
Yeah.
Like, I let myself fully be seen. These other spaces, my heart kind of constricts, and I'm not fully me. I bridle myself, kind of what you and I were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Is like, because we're so afraid of rejection or being separated, like, so we start to bridle ourselves. And I was like, if everybody just started to imagine what their life looked like when they are unbridled in every area, they show up with a full yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I think your world would drastically shift.
Yeah.
When you're not looking for how can you meet my need, but how can I actually show up with such vibrant, I swear I'm not new age, but show up with such vibrant energy.
Yeah.
That's warm and welcoming and inclusive. And I mean, that's the Lord.
Yeah.
That's him.
Well, it's full and it's free. It's fully free.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah. But I think there's a fear to surrender to love.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things too that I've been thinking about is like, I think people are afraid of love itself. And I think it's actually the Lord, because he is love, you know? But we use it as guises, right? So we're afraid of the vehicle in which it shows up. So like your relationship with your spouse is a vehicle that ushers in love. Life circumstances is a vehicle that ushers in love.
Yeah.
And because that doesn't always align with safety, we think that we can't fully trust love. We feel like we can't trust him fully.
Yeah.
And I started to even see that, like, in my own life, like, where have like things in my life gone what looked like sideways that caused me to feel like I couldn't trust love. I couldn't trust the Lord. I had to protect myself. I had to keep my heart closed. I had to, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like all these pockets started to come up. And I was like, man, if we would just stay curious enough within ourselves of just being curious of like, hey, where did these things creep in at? Where have these lies tried to land? Where have they landed? Where have they tried to build houses?
Right.
Where have they tried to, like, I've seen them like towers within us. Like, we build these stone towers of lies to protect because we're afraid of love. We're afraid of the full expression of love.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just thought it was so good. This whole concept of like showing up fully.
Yeah.
And refusing to take the bait of the lie of separation.
Yeah.
Because it's a trap.
Yeah.
When have you seen the lie of separation manifest itself?
Yeah.
And how'd you dismantle it?
See it all the time. All the time. And when you brought it up to me, I saw it in just many things. I think in order to have that full yes, though, it's got to be the foundation. You got to have that squared away with the Lord. I think for me, that's my thing anyways. That's the way that you can have the full yes. And that's the only foundation that's that solid to where you can do that. If it's not, then there will be something that can sever that, because he's immovable. So I think that's the only way to the full yes. Once that's there, you said, how have I seen it? I'm trying to think of, I know for me, with relationships, with people, if the people I'm in relationship with are not full yes, well, that's a weird way. If they're close enough to me, then I have a hard time being full yes in that specific relationship. But what distinguishes that particular circumstance from like other people that aren't full yes, like the people I encounter at work or in my day-to-day going about whatever, my day, is that those people aren't directly, related to me.
If it doesn't require true intimacy.
Yeah.
It's like I can show up fully in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But when it requires me to be fully seen.
Yeah.
And fully known.
Yeah.
I'm just tracking. Like I'm catching that. I'm like, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you can word it better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, but
well, I tend to be all over the place. But yeah.
But I think that's a beautiful, there's tension there, right? Of learning and growing of, man, I know people who have that full yes in their heart.
Yeah.
Not just yes towards the Lord, but yes towards vulnerability, yes towards transparency, yes towards growth, yes towards wholeness. Because I do think all of that's the Lord, but I think it shows up. We can so religiousize things. I think that's why I'm trying to create a little distinction. But it's like when you're like, no, I really desire all these things. The lie comes in on the other side of you'll always be separated from them because they're not a yes.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's like they're the ones choosing that. And maybe to a degree that's true. But I also, I see our yeses starting to be like gravitational forces.
Yeah.
They start to be like magnets that start to pull people out of their own fears, their own traps, their own, I don't know if this is fully making sense, but I just see it as if we would choose to not believe that lie and let us continue to invade our close people's space.
Yeah.
Whether that's calling out, hey, you're retreating and you're not a retreater.
Yeah.
That may have been a coping mechanism that you have, but stop retreating. Come forth. You don't have to be afraid of this thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I kind of see this pattern. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah.
I think we underestimate the power of questions.
Right. But this also the having the heart of safety of hey, you don't have to run away from these things. I'm here. You don't have to be afraid.
Yeah.
Of me even. Or I don't know, having that safety around it.
Yeah.
Of hey, you can fully be vulnerable here.
Yeah. And then allowing yourself to even say hey, if they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
How can I show up in a greater way?
Yeah.
Fully, you know what I mean? Because I feel like when people are fully there with tenderness, with curiosity, with softness, it allows those things to come forth from people.
Yeah.
They're not afraid.
Well, that's how God is.
Yeah.
The honesty that he wants us to approach him with.
Mm-hmm.
Like David, you know?
Yep.
It didn't matter what was going on. He was completely honest. And the Lord is that safety. He is that safe.
Yes.
And we are that for people too.
Mm-hmm. I think the lie of separation causes us to deny those aspects, though.
Yeah.
And when we start to deny certain aspects
Yeah.
of even like triggers
Mhm.
or feelings or our experience of something,
Yeah.
I think the lie of separation produces shame.
Mhm.
And I think shame causes you to deny that reality.
Yeah.
Because you feel shame about something. You feel like, you know, XYZ. I don't have to explain shame. Everybody
Sure.
knows what that feels like.
Yeah.
But like you want to run and hide, like you're embarrassed. Like, but that prohibits you from holding space
Yeah.
for the not so perfect places within you.
Yeah.
Because the lie says you are separated until you become perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know. But I think if we hold space for the not so perfect things within us,
Yeah.
we can then also hold space for the not so perfect things within people
Yeah.
and grow through those things together.
Yeah.
I heard this term and I'm taking it and running with it. It's like you can join hands through the portal of death.
Yeah.
You can do it in relationship to allow these things to die
Yeah.
that are no longer serving you.
Right.
They're actually not the authentic you.
Yeah.
You're becoming you
Yeah.
in the midst of this. Like you are you, but you're also becoming you.
Mm-hmm.
And so allowing yourself to embark on that journey
Yeah.
is so important.
What is that scripture? Daniel read it. It was on Sunday. Okay, well, forget it. I'll find it. But it's that, hey, you've been made right with God and you're walking out the process.
Oh, that's in Hebrews.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Hebrews 10.
What is it? I'm going to edit all this mumbling out.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
I know it. I should know. I got quizzed yesterday on Bible scriptures.
Oh, no.
Well, I was given some cookies and then quizzed on Bible scriptures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Feels like my
It's the
childhood.
new normal. Yeah, up here.
Wait, what did you just say?
Like we've been made perfect, but we're walking it out. It's along those lines.
Oh, yeah. It says, for by one offering, he has perfected forever those who are being sanctified.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
it. That's the one.
Oh, that's my phone. Okay, hold on. That was the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
So Hebrews 10:14
Mhm.
says, for by one offering, he has perfected forever those who are being sanctified.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that scripture.
Yeah, me too.
I love that I actually love 10. Hebrews 10 is probably one of my top
Yeah.
all time because it talks about like you have no more consciousness of sin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's like, as one who deeply grew up in
Yeah. Sin consciousness.
you better stare at your sin all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. But that's the thing you were talking about that we get to do together
Yes.
is like perfect, but being sanctified. It's like we get to take these dirty rocks and coals and stuff and hammer them out and forge them into the perfection, you know?
But there's something beautiful in doing it together.
Yeah.
There's a bonding, there's a uniting, there's a purification that's like, this sounds weird, but it feels like an intertwining.
Yeah.
Like it feels like the right kind of tangling together.
For sure. Well, the way that I was seeing it, just from the get-go, because as you were talking about it, like I'm like, well, what does that healthy togetherness look like? And I'm like, you know, I like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and stuff. It's like if I'm going to like into battle with somebody, I want my best friends with me so we can go conquer some stuff together.
Yeah.
Let's go kill a dragon.
Yeah.
Together. Not I got to be with him so that, because I know he knows how to use the sword. He knows how to wield his weapons, you know, and this person can, let's go in it together and, you know.
Yeah, it causes empowerment for each person.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a joy.
Yeah, dude.
I had that feeling just running the other day. I had this feeling of like my friends that I run with and stuff, like I thoroughly enjoy being with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just the camaraderie of it.
Yeah.
And I feel empowered by it. Just like joy. I feel this like surge of joy from it.
But do you know what I think is so interesting about that? I'm going to go even probably, well, whatever.
Yeah.
It's that you had to have a whole lot of micro decisions
Yeah.
to lead you to that place. It wasn't just, hey, all of a sudden I love running and I love running with my buddies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there were so many micro decisions. You had a point of intersection where you had to choose, am I going to be authentic or inauthentic?
Yeah. My micro decisions started with showing up to the groups. Like that was my first thing. I don't know. I'm sure, I know everybody remembers. Like when I showed up, I was just silent. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to talk because likewise, growing up, if I said the wrong thing, which usually I said the wrong thing, I would get punished for it.
Yeah.
But I showed up anyways.
Yep.
That was that's how my micro decision started was I know I'm supposed to, this is it. I'm just going to show up.
Yeah.
And if I don't have a word, if I don't have anything, like, and I felt the safety of it. Like, it's okay if I don't bring anything.
Yep.
I will eventually, but it's just, that's where they start.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's so important to look at things in your life. Like, what are the micro decisions that I make every single day that are either building me into who I really am or causing you to retreat into a camouflage that you're not?
It's fear, love.
Yeah.
It's boiled down to that.
Yeah, but there's so many. I think we rob the simplicity of things.
Yeah.
Because we think they're like these big grandiose things of like, well, I never get dreams, or I never hear God, or I never understand the Bible, or it's like, a micro decision is read the Bible every day.
Yeah.
A micro decision is, okay, maybe not every day. How about one day?
Yeah.
Like, open your heart a little bit, just one day.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, you had that story.
Yeah.
If you just open a little bit, like your buddy, remember? Like he was like, man, I really want to hear God's voice.
Yeah, right.
And then bang, just snap, there it goes.
Yeah.
Like something shifted.
Right.
And now he's having dreams and encounters with people. And
well, it's like every time the fear shows up, every time it shows up, there's a decision to be made in it.
Totally. But I love, that phrase, like you have to face off with your deepest fears.
Yeah.
Is you have to look that mother sucker in the face.
Yes.
I did say sucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to look at it. And sometimes you even have to go into it.
I think that's the only thing to do.
You've got to go. Yeah. You know what? I think so too.
Yeah.
I do. I think you have to go all the way through the fear. Let yourself experience that. Because the truth and love will envelop you on the other side of it.
Yeah, that's right.
I think love is always with you, but sometimes when you're feeling that, you're not always aware that love is with you.
Yeah.
But there is like I guess we're going to use all New Age words today, but like a transcendence that happens on the other side. There is growth that happens when you go through a fear.
Oh, yeah. New Age doesn't own those words.
I know. You know, though.
I know. Anyway.
I'm not trying to be.
Yeah, I know.
I just want.
Yeah. And well, if it's back to the foundation thing, if you've got him, you can confront those things.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
I was talking to Zach about it this morning. I was like, it makes me feel like when people, I guess it's not a feeling, it's a thought, but like when you start to make these micro decisions of like, no, I'm not going to turn my face away. I'm going to look at this fear.
Yeah.
Even in the smallest thing. Nope. I'm going to look at the fear.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at what I think, what I believe.
Yeah.
And as you do that and you do that and you do that and you move through them and you allow them to I say, pass through you to where you have resolve in it with the Lord, I think you can start taking on bigger and bigger things. I think that's where you then get to confront principalities. That's where you because there's no other fear that has hold of you because you've gone all the way through it.
Yeah.
I think that's like Jesus when he was like, yo, Satan's got nothing in me.
Right.
Because he had no fear.
Yeah.
He was not afraid of anything.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's so cool. It's making me think of like video game bosses too. It's like boss battles. It's like they get more difficult. And
what
it's like,
is that?
what? Okay.
Time out and elaborate.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So back in the day, especially the older games, you go through its levels, you know? Let's just use Mario as an example. The first level, there's trees in the background and you got little bosses, you jump on them, kill them. Well, eventually there's like a boss battle at the end of it. It's like it's the hierarchy. You're fighting the hierarchy of villains, you know? And then at the end of the game, it's like the boss battle. You're fighting the king of the bad guys.
I've never heard that phrase.
Always. And so it progresses. It gets more difficult, but you're competent enough. If you make it this far, you're going to face this boss.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that is like, and on our side of the tracks, like with the Lord, there is no hierarchy, but the darkness there kind of is. So like the little things that come up, you're talking about the micro decisions lead to the big ones. Lead to the principalities, but we're capable.
Kind of like the tutelary spirit.
Yes, that's a boss battle.
Yeah,
tutelary. Yeah.
Tutelaries.
Yeah,
I knew I was going to screw it up, but that's what it just made me think of. Is like when you start to deal with the issues in your own heart, and it goes little by little by little by little by little, and you create the boss battle.
Yeah,
you'll eventually confront that generational thing that sits on your family line.
Yeah.
And you'll have to look that sucker in its face.
Right.
And then you can move through it.
Yeah. Well, and with all the boss battles.
Yeah, but you'll never be afraid of it.
Yes, right.
Because you've actually been confronting that sucker all along.
Yeah.
You just didn't know it. It's just taking different forms.
Sure, yeah. Little bit by bit. Yeah, you chip away at it. But that's where the gold is.
Yeah.
That's where the prize is, you know?
I think that's why, like, I think it was Joshua that the Lord told him, like, you will start to conquer these lands little by little. So that lest they overtake you.
Yeah.
I think that's an important principle for us is like, let these micro decisions be your little by little.
Yeah. Oh, right. And what's cool about that is there's always little micro decisions.
Always.
All the time. You don't have to go very far to find them
You don't have to live 10 minutes, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, it's there. And that's a relief just hearing that, I feel like. It's like, okay, good. You can practically put feet to your authority immediately.
And I think a big key too is realizing like this is just us living life.
Yeah.
This isn't pressure to hurry up and obtain something. There's no pressure to get through this, to deal with the root. Like, I feel like that gets blown out of proportion because then people are just so looking for how do I deal with the root?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, just be in the moment.
Yeah.
Take it as it's coming. Do the micro decisions. Lean into the fear of things. Be present in what is happening in front of you because whatever in front of you is the most important thing for you in this moment.
Yes.
And like, that's where you're going to get the most benefit out of your person.
Yeah. It's like you're in the theater.
Yeah.
You're in the theater of like the world. And whatever comes across and whatever's in front of you, that's where the decision is made.
Yes. Yeah. And those things start to grow your person.
Yeah.
That's what's going to cause the expanse.
And you don't have to be a detective about it.
Exactly.
The Lord gives it to you. He brings it in front of you.
Yeah. It's just being in the present.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey, you're okay today. Okay, be okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You had a trigger? Okay, let's look at the trigger.
Yeah.
Don't hide yourself from it.
Right.
Lean into it. But there's like this pressure and this expectation not to just be perfect, but to like deal with your stuff or like ascend into mysticism and ascend into oneness. And it's like, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I don't want to work for jack crap, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't have to.
It's already been given.
Yeah.
Why are we not accessing it?
Sure, yeah.
And I think the access is the micro decisions. And those things will continue to unravel.
Yeah.
Because just as much as the issues of your own heart are coming out, those micro decisions are also invitations to connect.
Yeah.
They're invitations to enrich your connection to the Lord.
Absolutely. And people. Yeah.
And people.
Right.
And like, yeah, it's just this beautiful, like, intertwined. That's the only thing I can think is like, no, this is the healthy being intertwined with the Lord.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're dealing with these issues in the lie of separation by yourself.
Yeah.
And the Lord is not expecting you to be perfect.
Right.
To deal with the lie of separation. And then once you deal with the lie of separation, we're all good.
Yeah.
It's bogus, to be honest. Because the lie of separation was already dealt with.
Right.
You're just, you're literally making these micro decisions to come into agreement
Yeah.
of like, oh man, I believed I was separated
The
in this.
sanctification process is right there. Yeah.
Yes.
And it just like, eventually, those little things, it just becomes your nature.
Yes.
And then the big things, then those become your nature.
Yep.
Then, the principalities and stuff comes up.
Yeah. And it's
They're
simple.
shaking in their boots because you're
awakening
wield
to who
it.
you really
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, you wield your authority.
That's the whole thing. Like Jesus is waiting to make his
Yeah,
for his enemies to be made his footstools.
Right.
Like that's in Hebrews 10 too.
absolutely.
But we're his hands and feet. So
Mhm.
we should actually be subduing these suckers.
Yeah,
But it's in the little by little.
yeah, it is. Yeah, and then things happen, and yeah, it's just whenever anything happens, then that situation or those people are introduced to him, his nature.
Yeah. I think that I'm really stuck on the micro decisions because I feel like
Yeah,
you always have these moments of like, am I going to constrict my heart or am I going to stay open?
yeah,
Am I going to stay curious about what's going on in my heart
uh-huh.
or am I going to retreat and go watch TV?
Yeah, right.
Like you have these moments.
Go live from a distance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you going to go live your,
Mm-hmm.
that is such a profound thought though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how much of our lives have we chosen to live at a distance?
Yeah.
And I think the lie of separation causes you to do that.
Yeah. That's right.
Man, I feel that question kind of be posed. Like, is there any area of your life
Yeah.
where you're living at a distance,
Mm.
where you don't feel fully connected
Wow.
and fully
yeah.
alive
Yeah.
in your relationships or with the Lord?
Yeah.
Like, are you living life with Him at a distance?
Yeah.
And here's the trap. I think that the lie of separation comes in. If you looked at it and was like, well, yeah, I'm living my life at a distance because these people won't. Because I can't connect the way that I want to.
Yeah.
I think that's the lie that is actually being projected,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
Like that's not taking any kind of ownership. That's not taking your power. That's not owning your power. That's not even dealing with your fears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you ever point the fingers outward, you can't grow if it's somebody else's fault.
Right. Yeah.
I am the person that's like, let's look at everything because I want to flip and grow.
Yeah.
I want nothing to hold me back. And it's zero people's fault
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's zero people's fault except mine.
Yeah.
If I
And
perceive something.
As you can just imagine bringing that multiple people bringing that to the table where nothing scares you or you never back down
Yeah.
from anything. Lay all that on the table and show up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the recipe for, what we're gunning for.
Wild.
Yeah.
A wild life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wildly fun and worth it.
Exhilarating.
Alive life. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that's the desire of everybody.
Yeah. It is.
They want to be alive.
Yeah.
But it's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the word the Lord gave me this year was like, keep it simple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like our days are so simple.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they are.
we make things much bigger than they should be.
Yeah, yeah. We had the storm, was it last week?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, at our house, the Hardin residence, things have been just going weird, going off.
You have had some wild charts, dude.
Things that haven't been happening. But it's been pure opportunity. All of it. Every bit of it. It truly is. And I'm thankful for it. I'm glad the power went off.
Yeah.
I'm glad it got cold. I'm glad we lost the internet.
I know. I really enjoyed those days.
Yeah. I'm glad my car got backed into. I'm glad Kelsey's food was wrong last night. We went on date night.
Mhm.
I wish it had been my food that had been wrong. It's just opportunity to be okay and to
bless somebody.
That's the gold in it.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think about the guy that hit you yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, like us being there, he had such nervous energy.
Yeah.
You could feel how scared he was.
Yeah.
Having to own up to the fact that he backed into your car.
Well, and just you can feel whose car did I back into?
Totally.
Like, is it some?
Totally. And I felt that. Like,
yeah.
I could feel his energy. So for me to even just say, like, hey, he's actually the best person for you to have backed up into because he's patient.
Yeah.
I literally could feel that fear start to wash over him, like away from him.
That was the only thing I felt out of that whole thing was it's an opportunity to relieve him of that. Like, hey, it is okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And man, talk about ballsy move to get on the microphone and.
Yeah, he made a public announcement.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember parking. I remember pulling in and parking. I was like, this looks like a good spot. I look at my parking spots. I always park as far away as possible.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, the least amount of cars was right in the middle. Anyways.
Next time, listen to the Lord. He was telling you not to park there.
Not to park there? Maybe he was telling me to park there, though.
Valid.
I don't know. But things like that too. And I always joke, like, if my car breaks down, like anything that happens,
totally,
that's a micro decision or a decision, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's there.
I think they are micro. I think they're like, there's always those moments. They're micro decisions of like, you had to have those choices.
Yeah.
To where you always chose that way.
All right.
Right. So now it's just an automatic. You don't have to quote unquote, make that decision. It's an automatic response.
Yes, right.
It is who you are.
It's become a discipline and a practice and nature.
Yeah, it has become your nature because you chose these micro decisions.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the goal.
Right. And it's inviting him into the space.
Yep.
It's like even driving the car, like this morning, you get stuck behind some slow person. That's a micro decision.
Totally.
How am I going to, am I going to like whiz past them real quick and slam on my brakes in front of them? Or like, am I going to like drop an F-bomb at them, like, without anybody knowing but myself?
Yeah.
Am I going to curse this person in my head?
Yeah. Until you realize that we're all so deeply connected that even if you're cussing them in your head, you're still affecting them.
Right.
You're deeply affecting them.
That's a deep micro, that's a little tiny.
Yep.
But that's how available it is. That's how close these decisions are.
Mm-hmm. But the beautiful thing that I love that the Lord has set up is that they're snowball effects.
Yeah.
It's like you make 15 of these micro decisions.
Yeah.
The next 150,000 of them become automatic responses.
Right. Yeah.
Or, X number. Like,
yeah.
It's
and we're not victims. We're not victims of circumstance. Like, we have that power. We have that decision-making power in those moments.
Yep.
Despite what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
We really do. I think that's a lie there, is that we don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things just happen to us.
Yeah. We're just victims.
And it's just not true.
Not even a little bit. We're not even, I don't even know if you could totally put victim. You can put there, but I was thinking even other words of like happenstance or like, these things just don't like.
Right.
I'm just moving through life. I'm just going through life. Like, all of those phrases are like, I am subject to external forces.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing too, is like in these micro decisions, you can catch yourself thinking, do I believe more strongly in external circumstances or do I believe in the internal connection?
Yeah.
Because.
Well, on the flip side, external circumstances are subject to our decisions.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But you have to look at that. Like, I think that's where a micro decision comes in, is like, which one do I believe? What do I believe is greater here? The outside to in or the inside out?
Yeah. That's love and fear too.
Totally.
It just boils right down to it.
Listen, that's why I think he was talking about like love casts out fear.
Yeah.
For fear has to do with punishment.
Right.
Well, punishment is like you're separated.
Yeah. Separated. Yeah. Being hit on by the world, by these things.
Yeah. You are subject to torture or
Yeah.
time out.
Yeah.
We think we have to live our life in time out.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's what I had about live separation.
That is good. That's good.
I think it's a beautiful unraveling that gets to happen.
Yeah. Super practical, super close.
Yeah.
Give it 10 minutes. You'll have something pop up.
And it'll feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The one thing I love, though, is that there's a stark contrast, right? You can either just get whipped by your triggers.
Yeah.
And let them take you for a ride.
Yeah.
Or you can learn to catch the trigger.
Yeah.
And realize that you have power over it and that you can navigate through it.
Yeah.
And that you're not a victim to the emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Right.
You know? And so exercise the power.
Yeah. Good. If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you'd like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.